The Cuban Missile Crisis, also known as the October Crisis of 1962, the Caribbean Crisis, or the Missile Scare, was a 13-day, October 16th to 28, 1962, confrontation between the United States and the Soviet Union, initiated by Soviet ballistic missile deployment in Cuba. The confrontation is often considered the closest the Cold War came to escalating into a full-scale nuclear war. In response to the failed Bay of Pigs invasion of 1961 and the presence of American Jupiter ballistic missiles in Italy and Turkey, Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev agreed to Cuba's request to place nuclear missiles on the island to deter a future invasion. An agreement was reached during a secret meeting between Khrushchev and Fidel Castro in July 1962, and construction of a number of missile launch facilities started later that summer. Meanwhile, the 1962 United States elections were underway, and the White House had denied charges for months that it was ignoring dangerous Soviet missiles 90 miles or 140 kilometers from Florida. The missile preparations were confirmed when an Air Force U-2 spy plane produced clear photographic evidence of medium-range SS-4 and intermediate-range R-14 ballistic missile facilities. When this was reported to President John F. Kennedy, he convened a meeting of the 9 members of the National Security Council and 5 other key advisors in a group known as the Executive Committee of the National Security Council, EXCOM. After consultation with them, Kennedy ordered a naval blockade on October 22nd to prevent further missiles from reaching Cuba. The U.S. announced it would not permit offensive weapons to be delivered to Cuba and demanded that the weapons already in Cuba be dismantled and returned to the Soviet Union. After several days of tense negotiations, an agreement was reached between Kennedy and Khrushchev. Publicly, the Soviets would dismantle their offensive weapons in Cuba and return them to the Soviet Union, subject to United Nations verification, in exchange for a U.S. public declaration and agreement to avoid invading Cuba again. Secretly, the United States agreed that it would dismantle all US-built Jupiter MRBMs, which had been deployed in Turkey, against the Soviet Union. There has been a debate on whether Italy was included in the agreement as well. When all offensive missiles and Ilyushin IL-28 light bombers had been withdrawn from Cuba, the blockade was formally ended on November 21, 1962. The negotiations between the United States and the Soviet Union pointed out the necessity of a quick, clear, and direct communication line between the two superpowers. As a result, the Moscow-Washington hotline was established. A series of agreements later reduced US-Soviet tensions for several years, until both parties began to build their nuclear arsenals even further. Vidipedia.com is the video version of Wikipedia. Dubbed the YouTube of Wikipedia, every topic is simply explained in a short video. If you like our video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more videos like this, please also leave us a comment below and tell us what topics you want us to cover next.